John Gruden finally makes his move, and now people are going to believe me that the Chicago Bears are getting into the playoffs this year. Still stinks. Yo everybody, how you doing? King Dingbat here. So we got a blockbuster trade that just went down a little while ago. I'm sure you've heard by now. Khalil Mack to the Chicago Bears for 2 first-round picks. This is crazy. This is insane, right? No, not at all. I said I did videos on this very early in training camp and preseason that Khalil Mack, this whole thing with him was not going to work out. You could tell by John Gruden's posture. You can tell the fact that this team never even talked to him. They weren't even talking that this thing was going to go bad. Now, I personally wanted the Eagles to go after him, but it's really hard with the cap and where we were at. So it wasn't realistic. But the Chicago Bears was one of the teams that could make a move, and they did. Now, they gave up 2 first-round picks and another player to be named later. When you first think on the surface, 2 first-round picks and a player, you think, no way, you don't give up that much, that's way too much. But then if you really start to think about what the Bears are doing, what they're trying to do, then you know what? It doesn't seem so crazy. I mean, let's think about this. You have Mitch Trubisky, who obviously the Bears believe is a future franchise quarterback, much like the Eagles believe and know Carson Wentz is. So they believe in him so much, and they know he's on a rookie deal, that they want to build around him right away. Now, Khalil Mack is 27 years old. His birthday's in February. That means he'll be 27 the whole year. He'll be 28 going into next year. So he can give them 5 or 6 years. They feel Trubisky's a franchise quarterback. They feel in 5 or 6 years they should be competing for Super Bowls. That's what they're thinking. So when you think about what they're trying to do, they have a young team and they're trying to bring in a player who is a top 5 player for sure. I would put him in the top 3 defensive player most likely. But he's a top 5 player who's going to give you double-digit sacks every year. I think that it's not as crazy as it sounds. I really don't. Because one thing I can tell you is pass rushers are really, really, really important. Look at the Eagles. Look how many guys they have in their defensive line that they rotate in and rotate out. You can never have too many pass rushers. You can get a guy like Khalil Mack. You got to do it. And this really goes, in my opinion, to show you how much they believe that they are rising, that Trubisky is their guy, and that they're going to be a competitor for a Super Bowl in the next few years. That's the only reason you do this trade. Now, they are giving up a lot, and, you know, I think that this is a team that is expecting to do good things and big things this year. And me personally, I have predicted that the Bears are a playoff team before this trade. You could talk to my guy, Josh from the Sports Fury. Shout out to Sports Fury. Definitely subscribe to him if you haven't. But I told Josh, I said, I think that the Bears could be a wild card sleeper team this year. That was before the Khalil Mack trade. Now, I think a lot of other people may agree that they are a playoff team. But I think the Bears did what they had to do, even though it's a lot. When you have a franchise quarterback, a young franchise quarterback, and you want to build around him, you got to do things like this. And when a top 5 defensive player in the league at 27 years old becomes available, sometimes you just have to pull the trigger. You just have to pull the trigger, and that's what the Bears did. So I applaud the Bears on this. I think they did the right thing. I would have probably have done it too. And I think the Bears did a great job. Now, as far as the Raiders goes, I don't know. I mean, I know that some of the players are upset. Probably some of the fans are upset. And it makes you wonder where the Raiders are going to go this year, because I think they're going to go nowhere because they stink. Sorry. No, they don't stink. But they stink for getting rid of Khalil Mack. You should not have gotten rid of him. You should have worked this out. He was your premier defensive leader on that team, and you just threw him away. What does it tell the players in the locker room? It tells them, hey, You know what? Money's more important than winning. They're not going to do everything that it takes to win. They won't even bring our defensive leader back, and that's why some of the players are probably pissed. So if you're a Bears fan today, you should be celebrating. I think this is a good move. I think you guys are on the rise, and I expect you to be at least a wild card team this year coming out of the NFC. With that said, take care. Talk to you later, and don't be a dingbat.